Stirring the coffee with the huge, flaming chopsticks of love on a Friday morning, using the vortex method, the only true way to optimize the taste of your coffee at the molecular level. Good morning. Welcome to the Daybreak Show. I am the Sultan. We'll get started, but first, coffee. Nice. Heavy cream, Ethiopian, made in a French press. Perfect for a Friday morning. The last 2 days of Daybreak shows, actually the morning shows, the Rise and Shine on Wednesday, the Daybreak show yesterday, were very important messages for everybody, and especially for men. I do believe that they are some of my most important and classic teachings, consistent with the philosophy of sanity, clarity, and reason in a loud, cluttered world of insanity, cloudiness, and unreasonableness. And that's what we want. We want sanity, clarity, and reason. The man or woman who has sanity, clarity, and reason appears to be more in charge, more at peace, more controlled, and have more solutions than the rest of the world. In the same way that I tell you to suck your stomach in, stick your chest out, shoulders back, head held high, walk 25% faster. Little things that you can do that cost you nothing, that make you stand out in a crowd. There's a time to be the gray man and be invisible. And then there's a time to excel and be head and shoulders above the rest. Today I want to dive into some viewer mail and address an issue that some people have talked to me about. And no, this is not a parody episode. This is not a joking episode. So listen to me carefully. And if this applies to you in some way, as they say, what, if the shoe fits, wear it. Or what's the other one? If the barn needs painting, then do it. This person writes, "Hello, I've been watching your videos from about 3 or 4 years ago about improving your life. The videos you posted then had to be some of the most inspiring, influential videos I've ever seen in my life. Yesterday was my birthday. I decided that it was time to change my life for the better. Anyways, my goals focus mainly on improving my financial situation and health. Basically, pursuing excellence and not women. Smart move. Now, this is where things get tricky, and I would love your advice. What do you think about castration? When I look at my past purchases, a vast majority of my purchases have to do with pornography. What do you think about castrating myself so I could kill the sex drive and save more money? From the castration forum I read, it seems it's a key to a better life. No women, no stress, no problems. Thank you for your time." There is times when people's questions occur to me as like a joke. Like, are they trying to trap me? Are they trying to get a reply, a serious reply to a joke question? I don't know if this is serious or not, but people have talked to me about this. So I'm going to answer it seriously, and I'm going to take it seriously. Castration. Basically, having your testicles removed so you don't have a sex drive. Your testicles create testosterone, which is a driver, which is the gas in your tank. Without testosterone, a lot of things will not happen in your life. You're going to lose your manliness, your masculinity. Do not equate your balls with your problems. That begins here, not down here. Society, feminism, your past girlfriends, people who don't like you have been castrating you all along, emasculating you. You don't need to do it to yourself. There's nothing but negative consequences and self-hate. The answer is not self-mutilation. In the 1st century, there were monks and followers within Christianity, a little bit twisted if you ask me, that castrated themselves, literally cut their balls off. And what did they find after they healed? They found that they still lusted. They still desired women. Their mind still wandered to places regarding women and sexual activity, which tells you what? Here's the issue. Here is the issue. It's not your testicles. You can cut your dick and your testicles off and still lust. It's a problem of the heart. So how do you deal with that? It doesn't sound like it's a spiritual issue for you. It sounds like it's a more logistic and financial issue. Here's my advice. What you need to do is castrate your heart from evil, from the influence of one of the most powerful things in the world, and that's a man's drive for sex or for a woman. Men have climbed mountains, created armies, went to war, literally tread through fire, swam shark-infested waters, have bore armor and swords, all for a woman. Now, when you castrate your heart, which means remove the drive, what you're doing is removing a God-given drive. Your drive for women is what God put in you. It's the gorilla in the cage. You need to go back and listen to my talks about the gorilla in the driver's seat. Now, you can wait till you're 60 and the gorilla is in the back seat, or in your 40s or 50s and the gorilla is in the passenger seat. It sounds like right now that the gorilla, your sex drive, is in the driver's seat and controlling your life. And you've heard me say jokingly, as other older men have said to me, you're thinking with that head instead of this head. As I like to say, use your head and not the bed. The sexual life is a life that's driven by seeking 7 seconds of pleasure. Life is worth much more than 7 seconds of pleasure. Many men have gone into 20 plus years of child support and alimony because of their loins and the misuse. So people make fun of me by talking about celibacy or being a voluntary celibate. You know what? You will still lust if you remove your sex organs. You will still lust, because the problem is not testosterone. The problem is your heart. Self-mutilation is not the answer. If you're going to remove anything, what you need to do is remove your will to follow your biology. For instance, does a fat person have their tongue removed because they eat too much and food is their downfall? Of course not. Does a thief cut off his hands, a reformed thief cut off his hands or fingers so he doesn't steal anymore? Of course not. So the issue is this. You need to change something, and that's a matter of your heart and your mind, which will affect your soul. It's obvious that you've made many bad decisions in your lifetime. You've come to forks in the road, intersections, and you've consistently chosen the wrong path. You might not have a man in your life to give you wisdom, but that's no excuse anymore. In the YouTube men's community, I do believe there are plenty of sound teachers. There's also plenty of unsound teachers. I'll just put it that way. People, when you're bombarded with messages that tell you what your biological imperative is, you start believing that stuff. After a while, you start thinking it's you, and you can't separate yourself from your practices. I ask this question, does a thief steal? Does a man steal because he's a thief, or is he a thief because he steals? Answer that question. Now, you are not equal to your actions, although some actions will define your life. For instance, when it comes to law and justice, law and order, if you do something against the law, there are consequences for it. In the same way that there are morals, moral codes, ethical codes, even though they might not be criminal actions, there's still consequences to them. And what you need to do is take a look at your actions and look at the consequences that follow. Right now, it seems like castration is an answer. And you can find the most freaky thing that you want on the web and on forums. Doesn't matter. There's something for everybody. The answer is not castration. The answer is not castration. What I want you to do is pursue excellence. And cutting your balls off or disabling your sex organs is not a viable answer. It's self-mutilation. The key to a better life is to straighten out your heart and your mind. Men and women were created for each other. When it comes to pornography, which pretty much stokes a fire, will take coals and fan it into a flame that seems unquenchable, that's what you're dealing with right now. That's kind of like what you're tormented with. I remember many years ago asking a pastor, I was probably in my 20s, in the middle of my sexual folly, which lasted at least 2 to 3 decades. Sexual folly means the misuse of my sex organs, promiscuity, something that I regret, and you can't get a fresh start. You can't erase the past, but you can use the past. I remember asking a pastor, after just going through a period of my life where I was just picking up women just for sport, so to speak, and conquest, and I said to him, when does it end? His answer was, when you die, that's when it ends. And it's true. You will always have drives that take you away from your ideal life, whether it be eating too much food or eating the wrong food. You will always have a drive that's going to do that. When it comes to sexuality, think about this. Behavior that gets rewarded gets repeated. Stop rewarding that behavior yourself. It's self-management, self-behavioral modification. Behavioral modification 101 is behavior that gets rewarded gets repeated. You keep rewarding that behavior. So 7 seconds of pleasure literally is your reward for watching pornography or for making bad decisions, spending money on women, and the misuse of sexuality, of your sexual nature. Your sexuality is a gift. Can you imagine taking a handful of potting soil, garden soil, and putting it on a white carpet? You can't, can you? Even when you try to clean that off of the white carpet, there's still going to be a stain there. Let's look at life. You can have done some very sexually deviant things, misused your sexuality, and even when you try to clean it up, there's still a little bit of a stain there. No matter how hard you work at cleaning that up, the dirt, the stain from the dirt, the evidence of that sexual deviance, debauchery, and misuse of your sexuality is still there. You will never get rid of it. Never. You always live with that. But that same soil put into a garden, it works beautifully. It fits. It's functional, and it helps things grow. Your sexuality can be that dirt on a white carpet or the dirt in the soil where it's appropriate, where it fits, where it's supposed to be. Your sexuality, when exercised, when practiced in the proper setting, is a blessing. It's a beautiful thing. It helps things grow. It's appropriate. But when it's taken out of its proper context, it's dirty, it leaves a stain, and there are consequences that are not favorable later in life. So what you end up doing is trading a few seconds of sexual pleasure for problems later on in life. The issue is to learn how to control it in the same way that you learn how to control your hunger, where you don't eat just sweets. You don't eat just junk and processed food, because you end up bearing the consequences and seeing the consequences. After a while, when you are consuming the wrong content, the wrong material, the wrong resources, it ends up showing in the same way as if you eat the wrong food. It appears and becomes very evident in your body. People who have been misusing their sexuality, it comes out in their mind, in their words, in their attitude about other people. You don't value people, you use people, and then you get used as well. So sexuality, just like that dirt, is a beautiful thing within marriage. It's functional, it helps things grow, it helps you create a family, and is a beautiful thing. It's not to be cursed. Now, with so many people contributing to the negativity around masculinity and sexuality, it sounds like that you have been a victim and a self-victim of that teaching. The goal of your sexuality is to, number one, procreate, and number two, to give you pleasure. But the number one reason for sexuality is procreation. You were made to procreate. I say God did not have to make sex feel good. That's an incentive to procreate. I believe this is the problem that you're dealing with, sir, is that you have the wrong mentors, you've been listening to the wrong people, you've been consuming all the wrong content, negative, twisted, and perverted, and that's not a judgment. That is just an observation. And what happens is, what do they say? You are what you eat. Well, you think what you consume. And if you're consuming all the wrong material, you're going to end up asking questions like, should I castrate myself? I'll ask you this. If you eat the wrong things and it makes you become 300 pounds, are you going to cut out your tongue? Of course not. You're going to modify your behavior. Somehow, some way, you're going to find a way to do it. So castration and self-mutilation is not the answer for you. Women are not the cause of your problems. You are the cause of your problems. What you're doing also is participating in a thing called blame shifting and not taking full responsibility for yourself. Take responsibility for your drives, for your passions. You have control over them. Even though you have a biological urge, your mind and your heart have control over that biology. You have certain foods that you probably don't eat. Why? Because they cause undesirable conditions. I don't eat a lot of hot food because it hurts my stomach, gives me an upset stomach and indigestion and so forth. So I stay away from that. I don't eat half a pizza and 6 beers every day because it makes me 300 pounds. So my will can overrule my biological desires. That's Daddy's good boy. I'll give you breakfast real soon, okay? I see that you have an issue with pornography as well. Again, pornography has really changed over the years. Pornography demeans men and women. Watching a 7-minute video of people acting sexual can deaden your actual sexuality. So what you're doing with this self-mutilation is literally punishing yourself for being involved in that. There's a reason why you watch porn in private, and it's because of shame. That's why. There's a reason why you do it with the door locked. Shame. And that shame is a good thing. That guilt is a good thing. That's actually meant to help you make the right choices. There's times when you do things you're supposed to feel bad. Picture inside of your heart, there's a triangle, okay? A triangle. And each angle is a sharp point, and it's inside your heart. And every time you watch porn, that little triangle turns, and the points scrape the inside of your heart, and it hurts. It does damage to you. It does damage to your conscience. It does damage to your heart. Pretty soon, when that triangle keeps spinning inside your heart, the edges get worn down. And then it just spins and spins and spins, and it no longer hurts. The hurt that you feel now, the pain that you feel now, is purposeful. Pain and confusion and the shame that you're feeling is a good thing right now. So the fact that you want to do something about it, let me invite you to look at it this way. View your sexuality and your sexual urges as a gift. Not something to be abused. Not something to be squandered. But view my teaching as wisdom. If that desire is in you, it's put in you. It's up to you to control it. You can't curse food for making you fat. You can't curse your loins for making you lust or spend money. The trouble is not women. The trouble is not your balls and testosterone. The trouble is in your heart and in your mind. When you start working on your heart and mind, literally consuming the proper content, I would ask you and challenge you to stop viewing content that breeds hate. Starve the dog of hate for women. Starve the dog of lust. And start feeding the healthy dog, the friendly dog, the social dog, the loving dog that's in you. What you need to do is lock out that gorilla, lock out the dog that's fighting within you. In the book Think and Grow Rich, I forget which chapter, which I want you to read, by Napoleon Hill. This is my homework assignment to you, young man. Read the chapter on the mystery of sex transmutation. If you take your sex drive, as you call it, you literally said your sex drive. You said, what do you think about castrating myself so I could kill the sex drive and save more money? If you killed your sex drive, you will not save more money. Literally, take the sex drive, remove the sex from it, and maintain the drive. When you take that energy and turn it into innovation, disruption, advancement, learning something new, then what's going to happen is that you will make a lot more money, use that drive, transfer that drive into business, transfer that drive literally into hustle, literally. But stop feeding the gorilla. Stop it. Your homework, as I said, is get the book, Think and Grow Rich, find the chapter, The Mystery of Sex Transmutation, which is taking your sex drive, your biological drive that's God-given, and turning it into something productive. I do believe that you're probably not productive. Saving money is also, you're undisciplined, but you're blame shifting. You're blaming it on your balls. You're blaming it on women. I can pick out 5 areas in your letter where you're blaming it on someone else. Take full responsibility for yourself, 100% responsibility, and you'll start to see some changes. I hope that's the beginning of some of the answers that you need, and I say that without condemnation, judgment, shaming. You'll be fine. You'll be okay. Stay in touch with me. And with that, finish your coffee, and I'll see you Monday morning on the Daybreak Show, your home of sanity, clarity, and reason.
Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other. So far as the echo, where do we start? You can learn to discover a million stars. Here in the shadows, I know you're scared. Take my hand, together we'll make a stand. We've got to fight to find a way. Dare to fall to find out what to say. No more hate. Just admit that you're just afraid. Time to let go of all your fears and pride. Stand up beside me, don't you hide. We can build a better place. If we can just find a way, then we can live a better day. Rise from the ashes, from the anger, from the war. Let's come together, lift your spirit for the cause. We should be equal, should be living free. All together, one and all, let's build a dream. Just admit that you're just afraid. Let go of all your fears and pride. Stand up beside me, don't you hide. We can build a better place if we can just find a way. Then we can live a better day. 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 Rise from the ashes, from the anger, from the war. Let's come together, lift your spirit for the cause. We should be equal, should be living free. All together, one and all. All together, one and all. All together, one and all. Let's live a better day.